Hey there, chart friends. Lamont here from JKS, checking in on the solar sector. Sweet. I hope somebody binged that. Okay, so where's the long box? There we go. So the obviously the short setup from yesterday didn't. Oh, it did. Oh no, it didn't. It did not play out. The short setup. I'm just gonna kill that for now. Clean up these charts. They are getting messy. Okay. All right. All right, so yesterday the long play played out. Let's make sure everything was hit. Yes, so our zone of interest happened to work out because it was hourly oversold, right? We want to make sure we're starting our scales in hourly oversold. And if you're the type of person who would, be frustrated with not getting 3 fills, I encourage you to reconsider your perspective. It's a lot better to position safely each time than it is to try to milk each trade for the most. If you get greedy, you try to grab a lot or as much as you can, then very often you end up with nothing at all, right? Like if you decrease this range, for example, the more narrow it is, the higher likelihood it is that you get stopped out, right? So it's up to you, how you want to trade. I can totally see how different traders are going to have different preferences here, but these setups are for mass appeal. If you by all means custom, it's like the Supra, right? The new Supra is designed for customization, really. Anyway, so we're looking for that daily higher low. Anything over 73.09 is a daily higher low. We're not yet confident that that is the daily higher low because we do not have the hourly trend change yet. So ideally tomorrow the bulls will show up, defend this low of 82, break over highs of 82.98 to change that hourly trend, and have bears scouting for a daily lower high. This is enough range that I would anticipate a daily lower high. It's not a lot of candles. Ideally we'll have like 3 candles plus when we're looking for that daily lower high, but you can see that when you have a lot of range, it still makes it the most likely scenario. So that range is relatively similar. 12% there and like 10% here, right? So relatively similar. A daily lower high is very likely, in my opinion. Oh man, I shouldn't remove those levels. So now, if we're looking for that lower high, then we are, bears I should say, are scouting it in hourly overbought conditions. So very hard to say right now where they would be. But obviously the only play, because it's an all-time high blue sky bull, the only option is to be top fishing the all-time high resistances, right? So if you are looking bearish, then ideally you'll be doing so like in around here, maybe 89s, 90s psychological, and wait for hourly overbought conditions. Maybe there's a trend line. Yes, I would say that's good for a trend line. Do we not have a macro channel? I thought, I forget. I feel like I had a big old channel drawn. I gotta start cleaning up these charts, y'all. All right, well, whatever. Let's see. Maybe we can just do it right now. Do I like this? Yeah, that's not bad. So we have 3 hits on this channel. Yes. Okay, let me clean up this chart a little bit. Kill this guy. Kill this. Kill this. Don't need that. All right. Okay, so that's not bad. I don't hate that at all. But that doesn't help this current trade. So we have this macro channel to be watching out for. The support trend line I have much more confidence in because we have 3 taps. And although we don't have 3 taps on the resistance line, I will say that, again, I find it pretty good because we're getting hits off the standard deviation band. And we're also getting good hits off the median line. It seems to me like it's a pretty valid channel. Anyway, for the shorter term short, though, it's not going to be terribly relevant unless that high gets broken and you're really aggressive. Then you can still be looking for that short. So basically this would be your zone of interest, right? If the hourly, like something like this, and then of course always with hourly overbought, and it's going to mean a lot less. So you'll probably want to wait for really, ideally as extreme hourly RSI as you can if you're going to be attempting this short. Okay, something like that. However, if you're looking bullish, then tomorrow you'll be looking for a 5-minute higher low. And you just want to start your scales whenever the 5 minute starts to get oversold. And we can probably get a pretty good idea because price is already coming down now. Yeah. So maybe something like that. And again, this will be dependent on the 5-minute RSI when you're looking for that hourly higher low. Something like that, maybe. Okay. Yep, that's pretty much it. However, if bears can show up tomorrow, defend this lower high of 82.98, break to lower lows under 79.67, then bulls will continue to look for that daily higher low. But it's a pretty good showing, for initially, as an initial bounce. Okay, and it's also the first 12 EMA test after a big run. It's very similar to the back burner trades that Dan likes to talk about, like the first 5-minute oversold bounce play, first hourly oversold bounce play over after a big run. I feel like the first time for anything, like any meaningful test, is typically a good play. Like monthly TD support, for example, typically very good. All right, well, let me try to find some examples of that. Okay, like there, right? That's the first big touch of the monthly TD support. Oh, actually, no, it did it before as well. Well, it's been a big run since the last one. So basically, if it's the first test after a long time, after a strong move, then typically it's a good place to look for that. I think Facebook had some good tags, or Amazon, I forget. There you go. Look at these beauty tags on these Amazon monthly TD supports, right? First test after a big run, first test after a big run, right? See what I'm saying? Anyway, just conceptually, right? The first time is a good time. Sounds dirty. Alrighty, let's see. Well, I forget where I was at now. 7 minutes still on the first one. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna get some hate mail. Alrighty, so JKS. Man, what a tricky. I feel like I'm constantly just barely missing JKS, but we're just watching this range in JKS. It is potentially a pennant, a weekly pennant. And we're trying to bottom fish these lows if you're trying to get into this pennant, and it's just so elusive. Well, actually, you know what? Honestly, if you were trading it live today, you probably could have got a piece because, again, you want to adjust these scales, right? As soon as it becomes oversold is where you want to be scaling, and so it would have been, according to that, it would have been like that. So maybe you would have got 2 fills if you are adjusting these levels and not just trading it blindly based on what I'm doing the night before. I guess it's not blindly, trading it with reasonable expectations. I don't know. Whatever. My point is, ideally, you'll adjust these orders based on the market data. The new market generated information, I believe, is what many traders call it. All right. So anyway, missed that one, but honestly, that trade is also still live. If we were to get down into this shelf of support here and be in hourly oversold conditions, I would still be interested in making that play, especially if we were to come down and test the channel support, right? If we come down and test the channel support in hourly oversold or daily oversold conditions, I would be interested in a long there. But for now that this bounce has gotten going, ideally what will happen tomorrow is the bulls will show up, defend this low of 62.61, break to a high over 64.84, and then see some daily bounce follow through to have bears scouting a daily lower high with anything under 76.64 being one. So if looking short, then again, you have this channel to be playing off of. Ideally, you'll get hourly overbought condition. Oh man, why did I just delete that? Okay. All right, so ideally, we'll get into our zone of interest and this channel resistance trend line, and that top will cover all of that if we're looking for a potential short. And I don't know if it'd be a pretty beast day if it got there tomorrow, but that's the only short that I'm interested in the short term. I suppose this trend line. Okay. Yeah, that's not a bad place either, honestly. With all this price congestion here and multiple tops got put in, and then also this trend line that was violated, but also started getting good hits again, right? So that trend line pierced here. back test held, channel rejected it, broke down, and then rejected from the trend line again 2 times. So, you know, if you want to be aggressive, I wouldn't fault you for trying a little bit lower, but again, yeah, I wouldn't fault you, especially if the 5-minute can get overbought, right? So that upper level, the short against the channel and all that I just mentioned previously, that's really for more for the daily pivot. And if you're looking for the hourly pivot, then something like this is fairly reasonable in my opinion. Just realize though that the hourly, you know, if the hourly trend does change and you're looking for a short, technically you're going counter trend. Yeah. And we are in this potential flag as a macro pattern. So whenever the macro pattern is bullish, yeah, typically it's a better idea to just, you know, trade the bull side, right? You don't have to get too cute with the trading a counter trend. You know, this is a very clean consolidation pattern so far. And especially if you take into consideration the day that Tan had, just looking for a daily higher low, it's looking good. If the sector ETF is looking good and JKS is in this consolidation pattern bullish, you know, just be a little cautious with those shorts, all right? Oh, I'm sorry. Looking long, same thing. We're still doing the same exact thing. We're either bottom fishing down here in hourly oversold, or we're bottom fishing these supports now. Okay, so really anything like maybe around here, if the 59 level gets tested in hourly oversold conditions, you know, get on it. There's a bunch of confluence here. You know, we have the shelf of support, multiple bottoms got put in, S1, median line, all that good stuff. Okay. Alrighty then, so run got into our zone of interest, just one fill, plenty of space to give you a chop and protect that position. Obviously the short zone did not, wait, let's see. Nope. Obviously the short zone did not get hit. Where's that from yesterday? I don't remember. But our long zone of interest did, and let's see if we had adjusted it. No, that's about right. I think probably what we would have wanted it to be at. And so it's very similar to JKS in this, you know, it's not identical, but it's in a consolidation sideways kind of pattern. And like we said, the ETF 10 just had a nice bounce. Let me clean this up a little bit. So JKS is, Run is also just looking for a daily higher low, and anything over 52.36 will be one. So positioned fairly well. Nice rejection from this range. We'll be watching the range as our most important levels, our zones of interest. And the bulls are not yet confident that higher low is set, but if they can show up tomorrow, defend this low of 58.72, break to higher highs over 62.46, then they'll have confirmed that hourly uptrend and have bears scouting for a daily lower high. This is definitely enough range that would be looking for that daily lower high as well. So if you are a bear scouting that, then you'll probably be interested in top fishing that resistance up there. And ideally, you'll do so in hourly overbought conditions. So it'll look roughly something like that. My guys got moved around. Okay, something like that roughly if you're looking bearish. And then if you are looking bullish and you didn't grab that play over there, then you'll be bottom fishing these supports down here. Ideally, you'll get hourly oversold conditions again. And so where would that be? Let's see, it would be around here. So let's check out how that would look like on the daily chart. It's not a bad place, a reasonable place. Bunch of congestion here to offer potential support. Some bottoms got put in. Let me see here. Not a bad place by any means. Okay, so hourly overbought into here. Potentially. Looking for that daily higher low. I probably would increase my range a bit. All right, and now that we've made those adjustments, just want to make sure that the hourly, again, yep, okay, so we'll be oversold down there, and you'll want to move this around, again, based on the new market-generated information that you get tomorrow. FSLR, missed them. How was I looking so far down? All right. Oh, okay. Because again, okay, right. We wanted the hourly extension. Yes. I don't really care that we missed it, right? You know, again, like, could this trade have worked? Yeah, of course it could have, right? We have the daily 12.26 EMA. We had that channel support that I guess is not drawn terribly well. We have that channel support as well. You know, there was the potential for that to pick up there, but just I don't want it. You know, it's not that I didn't want it, but because it wasn't the perfect setup, I don't really care that I missed it, right? Because you always want all things, all signs point to success, right? You don't want just some, you want as many as possible. So no big deal, missed that one here. We are looking for a daily higher low. Anything over 79.05 will be one. A nice initial reaction off that bounce. off that EMA hold. The bulls did not change the hourly trend, so we're not yet confident that the daily higher low has been set. Ideally, bulls will hold the low of day 87.26, break to a higher high over 90.70, change that hourly trend, see some daily bounce follow through, and have bears scouting for a lower high. Anything under 98.46 will be one. So again, if you're looking short, which again is a little bit riskier because things look rather bullish, but I wouldn't fault you if you made an attempt like this, right? Hourly overbought conditions into the standard deviation band, this all-time high resistance. That's really all you got as a short. So yeah, and then if you're looking long, then ideally, you could be looking for a hourly higher low. If it starts off weak, there is a lot of space for bulls to show up and defend this low here for an hourly higher low, but there's also the potential for bulls to just start off strong tomorrow, in which case I just have to wait for some consolidation. And again, ideally you do so in 5-minute overbought conditions. Bunch of chop here, a lot of information. And honestly, now that kind of has a bit of a head and shoulders feel to it. It's not very clean though. I don't love it. All right, so again, little something for everybody, right? We're looking for that higher low potentially. Want to make sure 5-minute is overbought, and it would be right around there. And we just want to move this, as always, according to the new market-generated information tomorrow. So if looking for an hourly higher low, something like that. Alternatively, if you want to be very, very patient, I can be waiting for even lower. Okay, but basically just a patient bull will wait for the next hourly oversold conditions. A more eager bull is going to be trying to grab an hourly higher low, and of course shorts potentially there. Okay, FSLR, plug. So plug, without having moved the levels, gave 3 fills and then some nice bounce follow through. Plenty of opportunity, over 8% bounce of opportunity to chop up that position and protect it. So this played out pretty well, regardless of how let's see, would we have adjusted the levels? Maybe we would have adjusted it a bit, but no, that's pretty okay. You want to start scaling when it's oversold. So, yeah, I guess we could have improved our entries a little bit by adjusting the levels. Just goes to show you, a little bit of change based on the new market generated information can really improve the trade a lot. We could have got way closer to target today, and had a lot more space, right, for a bounce. Anyway, I guess we should. Nah, that's fine. Whatever. It doesn't matter. All right. Okay, so let's see here. Pivot is holding, went into that chop zone. There is the potential for a head and shoulders on PLUG. If bulls come up and they're not able to see much bounce follow through and set a daily lower high under 27.78, then the potential for this head and shoulders is definitely there. Apologize for the sloppiness or the busyness of this chart. I know there's a lot going on, but they are important, right? So these yellow lines that we marked off for our zone of interest, what are they? They are just pivots. They were major pivots, right? A major bottom got put in there, a major bottom got put in there. You saw it got defended. You see how it bottoms, it was a top there, right? So these two significant levels is how we drew our zone of interest. I feel like I had it actually a little bit wider, but I don't know. Either way, we were also interested in this potential channel hold, and we were just targeting the standard deviation band of the channel. And we always want to take profit like at the median line. Is always a good place when you're making these channel plays. Very often, if the borders, if the edges get rejected, then it just rushes to the median line, right? Median line tries to get it, median line, right? So today, median line, right? It just runs to it. So just a little detail for channel plays. So bulls are not terribly confident yet. It's a good bounce, but the bulls are not confident that daily higher low has been set yet because we don't have that hourly trend change. So ideally what'll happen tomorrow is bulls will show up, defend this low of 22.25, break over to a higher high over 24.80, and change that hourly trend to have bears scouting for a lower high under 27.78. And so bulls will be looking for that higher low, hourly higher low. Ideally they'll do so looking for it in 5-minute oversold conditions. Yep, so just roughly like that for now, given what we know, given the data that we have right now, something like that. If looking for that hourly higher low play. And then if you're looking short, I would just be looking to short the channel resistance. Now that we have these 3 tags, 2 tags down here, very, very clean holds. I am very confident in this channel at this point. So if looking short, I would just be looking to short like against into all these chop areas, right? You can see a top got put in here, bottom, a bottom, bottom, right? So this level is very contentious. And so shorting it, shorting those price action levels with the confluence of the channel, with the confluence of the pivot. And let's check out the daily time frame. That's it. Just looking for that daily lower high with the potential of an hourly head and shoulders. Not a bad play in my opinion. All right. Still in a daily downtrend too for PLUG. So really where bulls can be also really the primary trade on the macro scale at least is still a weekly higher low over 1369. This bounce, you know, it's a good bounce, but without changing the daily trend back to the bulls, we're not terribly confident that this macro trend can continue. Okay, so head and shoulders on watch. Daily downtrend. Less bullish than I know it's not a solar name. it's like it's a hydrogen battery name, but again, it was a member request, so I really should reorganize. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm rambling. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you all soon.